Hello and welcome to Nautilus Yacht Management. This is Anna. Today I'm going to introduce you to an Ocean 460. This boat is owned by Tom and Harriet Linsky. You might have heard of them. They are absolute royalties in the cruising world. Tom was 3 times world champion on the 470s, and both of them have been very active in the sailing and racing community. They actually competed into the very arduous Melbourne-Osaka 200 race, just the two of them. They have contributed to many distributions and many articles and reviews that you might have come across on the web. Tom was actually chief editor of Sales Mag for a very long time. The journey for Tom and Harriet on board Ocean started 15 years ago, in fact in the very yard where she was built, where they worked very closely with the designer and the builder to ensure that she was built to specs exactly to their standards and to their preferences. Welcome aboard Ocean. Tom and Harriet will show you all the way through. I hope you enjoy. For any question, of course, you can call us or contact us at any time, and we'll be very pleased to help and assist in any way, or to put you in touch with them if you have any questions that we can't answer ourselves. Thanks for watching.
Hi, I'm Harriet Linsky.
Tom Linsky.
And we are sitting here in beautiful Cook's Bay, Moorea, French Polynesia.
We'd like to take a few moments to tell you about the boat. We've been with Ocean since 2007. We've worked with the designer and the builder, Junior Pimenta of Dolphin Catamarans, and his French designer, Philippe Pouvreau. We worked with them right from the start, and they were so accommodating. We really got the boat that we wanted, and we want to tell you a few things about it. And then after this, we'll do a short video tour of the boat. And if you don't see anything you're wondering about during our talk or the video tour, we have uploaded 129 photos of the boat, plus accommodation plan, sail plan, and some other technical things you can take a look at. Well, first of all, when we chose the catamaran, we wanted to make sure the boat was safe. Not only performed well, but was safe and well built, really well built. And we chose Dolphin Catamaran because they go the extra mile in all the construction and engineering and the design. One good example that really impressed us is, the monohull. It's simple. The engineering is simple. You have a shell, and the loads are predictable, and it's pretty easy. With a cat, you have 2 hulls, widely separated, and the loads are very different in different seas and different wind strengths, different rig loads. They can tow in, tow out, and you're surfing and all those different things that act on a cat on a big platform. And with this boat, we've seen no deflection, no moving of the hulls or anything. I think a lot of that is due to the way they bond the hull and the deck together. Now, the Dolphin Catamarans so here's the deck, rolls down, and the hull comes up, and it's bonded like this, an area about this big, all the way around, glassed inside and out. There's none of this bolting a rub rail, bolting a little flange and sticking a rubber rub rail over it. That's really weak. So as a consequence of our bonded hull deck joint, this boat is really solid. It's really rigid, and that gives us a really good feeling at sea. The other thing is we like about the Dolphins are they have 5 watertight bulkheads. There's one about a foot back from the bow that goes from the deck all the way down to the bottom of the hull. That's if you smash into say a seawall or something. And then in the bow compartments there's another watertight bulkhead, extends about 6 feet back from the bow, and it's about 3 feet above the waterline. And that's also if you strike something, a reef or something while you're at sea. And then we have the 5 watertight bulkheads. In addition to them, there's one forward, there's one at the main bulkhead, there's one right in front of the engines, and there's one way back in the stern, so if you happen to back into a seawall, you won't flood the engine compartment and dust the boat. In addition to that, many of the subfloors, the cabin soles, are sealed, so you have a lot of attention to safety and what-if problems. What if you strike something? As far as the sail drives go, they made a breakaway skeg in front of the sail drive to protect the sail drive, and with the daggerboards, we tend to sail with them about a little bit down, so to catch anything. We've run into a lot of fishing nets and hawsers out there, and so if the board's down a little bit, they catch on the front of the board and don't get tangled up in the props and the rudders. So we really feel like that's been the safety and the engineering and the design to really give us confidence in this boat when we're at sea. Okay, we like to say the boat is solar powered. By that we mean not for propulsion. Unfortunately, the state of electric engines for yachts is not quite there yet, but boy, I hope it comes soon. We're all waiting for the great breakthrough in battery technology. But solar powered, while we're at anchor, we have 1,035 watts of solar up on top of our hardtop bimini, and we usually don't have to run the engine for weeks at a time. If we get a period of a few rainy days, we will run the engine to charge the batteries and just give it a top up. But we run everything from the solar panels. We have a water maker that runs the solar panels, 26 amps per hour. We have washing machines, laptops. We have his and hers offices, so we have laptops, multifunction, scan, print, copy, printer, refrigeration system. All this stuff is run on laptops. You just have to be a little strategic in the use of how much you use when, and keep an eye on the weather. But it's worked out really well. And the laptops and the solar panels are the most dependable thing on any boat. We have zero maintenance, zero problems. They're just up there and they work. And it's so much better than having a 300-pound genset somewhere and running it every day and coughing out diesel smoke. That's just not our picture of being on the water. It's having as light a footprint as possible. And the solar panels really help us achieve that. And it's a nice feeling.
Tom and I are double-handed sailors. We've been double-handed sailors for over 35 years. And one of the things that we really wanted to make sure when we bought a catamaran was to be able to continue double-handed sailing such that either one of us could reef and maintain the sails on watch. And we chartered a Dolphin 460 in St. Vincent and the Grenadines before we bought this boat. And that boat had 150% Genoa, which was quite a handful in the trades. Sailing in trade wind conditions, 15 knots. We felt a little bit overpowered. It was even hard to trim. And then when we tried to roller reef the Genoa, the sail shape got really distorted and did not look very good reefed. So we decided to ask the designer, Philippe Pouvreau, could we have a smaller jib, a working jib? Could we have that jib on a jib boom? And could we have pad eyes on the deck and a downhaul such that the jib could be easily reefed, smaller, handled, to be reefed by one person on watch, and then you have different pad eye locations to be able to modify the position of the sail and retain a really great sail shape for your jib. And he said yes to all of that, and in order to do that, he made the boom 1.5 feet longer, and he went up 2 feet on the mast as well. So that gave us a little bit more sail area in the mainsail, a much more manageable jib that we could both reef down when needed. And as a result, we have a really flexible sail plan, very well suited to trade wind sailing, and also really well suited to sailing in potential weather or rough seas on the way to and from a trade wind area.
Well, as we say in our owner's message, the Dolphin 60 is a performance catamaran, but it's not sort of over the top. I would say we've been sailing on a gunboat, and that is really whiplash city, and you really need a professional crew to run that boat because it'll fly a hull pretty quickly, and they have flipped. So this is a performance cat, but it's moderate performance. All the design parameters are moderate. But still, the boat sails pretty efficiently to windward, and with the 7'6" draft daggerboards and inboard jib leads, and it goes when reaching, say 70 to 90 apparent reaching and 15 to 18 knots of wind. It jumps easily up to 8.7, 9 knots, pretty painlessly. This boat has a nice motion in most sea states. And when further off the wind, we use our screecher. It's called a Code Zero in North Sails speak. It's made of 3DI material, and it's really powers the boat up. We use that from anywhere from 8 knots of wind up to about a maximum of 18 to 20. More than 20 we don't like to carry because it's a little too much sail, and we like to go fast, but we don't like to do it at the expense of the off-watch or putting all that extra load on the sails and the rig and the steering gear.
When we were sailing in the Caribbean back and forth up and down the island chain, and we were having to go to windward between some of the islands, we would have both daggerboards down. We would sheet in really hard, and we would go to windward just fine. And we were passing monohulls going to windward between the islands. So this boat sails to windward really, really well. And the thing that we've learned as we've done a lot of passages on this boat is that it's really important for the off-watch person to get sleep. And while it's fun to be able to go 8, 9, 10 knots at night at sea on a passage, so the miles just slip away, it's also really important for the off-watch person to get a plenty of rest. So what we found quite often is we're very happy to reduce sail a little bit, to reduce speed a little bit. Everybody gets a good night's sleep. Everybody feels secure. Off-watch and on-watch. The cook can prepare good meals, and the boat is very comfortable and very safe.
Yeah, it's funny. Anytime you get about 20 knots of wind in open ocean, you start looking around and you're like, wow, these seas are really confused. But you know what? It's always like that. So if you really carry too much sail in confused seas, you're really trying to shove the hulls through a lot of sea. And the rig and the people on board really don't like it. It's a lot of load on everything. So as Harriet says, we just try to play the long game and rest up and have an enjoyable ride. And still we get there so much faster than monohulls and all the charter cats that are out there. I think the charter cats with no daggerboards, first of all, they don't really go to windward, not at all, and they go pretty slow. So they're paying a huge price for just tremendous accommodations. But overall, this boat's really solid. It's safe. It's proven itself to us, and we think it's a really good boat for a couple with occasional guests, or a couple with a small family. And that's reflected in our layout. A lot of catamaran builders give you the choice of, well, charter layout, 4 double cabins, which is crazy, or else owner's cabin, and the other hull would be 2 double cabins, which is also kind of crazy, because those double cabins end up being junk rooms, garages, storage for all the other stuff. So we decided to each have an office. Harriet has her office in the starboard midships. Mine is port forward. And it's great. You have all your files up there. I have in my office, I have a desktop computer, a multifunction printer, a room for 2 laptops, and all this great stuff. And Harriet has the navigation suite in her office, including the Iridium Go and all the sail, all the weather prediction stuff that she needs. So it's a great use of space, we think. And we've had guests with us, and they enjoy. They have their own cabin. It's quite roomy, and they have their own head and shower. So it's a good boat for guests.
Welcome aboard, Ocean. Come on in, let me show you around. This is our galley area with my wonderful stove, my Mediterranean stove, which has 3 burners, an oven, and a broiler function. I love, love, love this stove. I love, love, love my galley area. It's the best galley I've ever had on a boat. Tons of storage. And then over here we have 3 refrigerators. So we have 2 refrigerators inboard, and then outboard we have a combination refrigerator and freezer. Tons of space in here. I love my fridges. These are great drawers. A little stowage here. This area gets a lot of activity with our coffee maker, and it's a great platform for getting food organized. And then we have our cups and bowls and glasses here. And then over here is our very spacious salon area. So this is our salon area. We have brand new cushions in 2021 with new ultra suede covering. And as you can see, it sits 6 to 8 people pretty comfortably. The table does slide down on its pedestals, and there is an insert that goes in, a 2-cushion insert, and then we usually lay out towels, and then this becomes a huge area for lounging when we're at sea, and the off-watch person or even the on-watch person can lounge in this area. And also keep an eye on things with a beautiful view around with the windows.
Go.
This is a little mini nav table with the circuit panel. These are the circuits that we most normally use. We have a VHF radio. We have the control for the hurricane heating system. We have our radio CD player. We have the battery monitor. We have the inverter monitor. We have the Spectra water maker control here. And then if you open this up, you'll see you'll be able to get into the back of all the instruments at the helm station. When we open this up, you can see the charge controllers for the solar panels. We also have our EPIRB in there, and you can see the back of the AIS transceiver here. Come on down into the starboard hull. This is the master cabin. We have a very comfortable Tempur-Pedic mattress on board the boat. There is a ton of ventilation in this boat, and so we have 2 overhead hatches above the bunk. We have a rear hatch, we have a rear port, we have a side port, we have 2 fans at the foot of the bed, and then we have this port over here on the starboard hull. As you can see, we have a ton of stowage in our master cabin. So we have all of the stowage outboard and here, and then inboard on the side of the bed. And then here is 2 panels. We have the 12-volt panel on the left and the 110-volt shore power panel on the right. Okay, now we're moving forward into the starboard hull, and we'll make our first stop at my office. So you can see a really nice desk area here, plenty of room for a laptop or for books, or if you have children, this is a great homework study desk area with storage up above, an opening port, and 2 fans.
Go.
So this area is also our station for the Iridium Go device. The Iridium Go box is connected to an external antenna, and the external antenna is out in the cockpit area, so you have plenty of airspace to get satellites. We also have a ham radio that is configured to work on the single sideband channels as well. And we have a Pactor modem. So if anything should happen to the Iridium Go system, we can use the radio and Pactor modem to send and receive data files, so emails, also get grid files and weather reports, and then also speak on the radio via either a ham band or a single sideband. Okay, let's move forward into the head, and plenty of storage in these sliding cupboards on the way. And into the head, again, we have lots of ventilation with an opening port and a bronze Groco head. So we have a mirrored vanity, a sink, storage here, a Kenmore washing machine, and also a personal sprayer. Plenty of room in this head. Let's have a look at the porthole now. But before we go down into the port hall, let me just show you fridge, freezer drawer, and the outboard fridge. Again, I love my fridges. Come on into the port hall aft, and here is the guest cabin with a queen-size bed, again a Tempur-Pedic mattress, a bookshelf and storage at the foot of the bed with 2 fans, 2 side ports, 2 lights, overhead hatch, a hanging locker, and then plenty of storage in the center of the boat and at the foot of the bed, underneath the bed here, for guest clothes. I can also picture a child really loving this room with the books and a row of stuffed animals at the foot of the bed. So this is a really great guest cabin or a child's cabin. Okay, so we have a hanging locker here, and plenty of storage here in these 2 cupboards. There's also a little hanging locker in here, and then these open out as well for storage area underneath with ventilation. We're just forward of the guest cabin in the boat, and when we were cruising and chartering in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, we went aboard a friend's boat, and they had this pantry that Junior Pimenta and Philippe Pouvreau designed into the boat, and I love it. So this is a great food storage area.
Yeah.
Just forward of the pantry is the guest head and shower, and then of course there's stowage in the middle of the boat as well. Plenty of room in the shower. And now we're going to go forward into the port forward office. This has been a great room for an office. Again, we have an overhead hatch and a port in the middle of the halls. Plenty of ventilation in here, a fan, plenty of lighting, a great big desk area that fits both a desktop and a laptop. And in original Dolphin plans, this is another cabin. So this cabin could also easily be converted into another guest cabin or a cabin for another child. You would just extend out the desk to make a bunk area. And underneath there's storage as well.
Good.
So this is the forward cabin with the printer and plenty of storage here. We have 2 shelves, a pull-out drawer, and then we have 2 cupboards here. So plenty, and a third here, plenty of room for office supplies, also materials for boat repair, paints, solvents, and things like that. Or if you convert it into a child's cabin or another guest cabin, plenty of room for stowage of clothes and things like that. We hope you've enjoyed this little video walkthrough of the boat. We've been the sole owners for 15 years, and we've always maintained her to the highest standards possible. We've done a lot of the work ourselves, or we've hired really great people to do work that we couldn't do ourselves. And we hope that you will enjoy this boat as much as we've enjoyed her. We sold our first bluewater cruising boat in 1991 to a Japanese family, and we happened to meet up with them again 20 years later in 2011, and they said thank you so much for building us a strong boat. So they really enjoyed being on our previous boat. So we hope that whoever buys this boat next, whether it will be a couple, perhaps with a child or 2, or a couple that just wants to do some double-handed sailing and have guests on board from time to time, we hope that you will enjoy this boat as much as we have.
Well, we've had a good experience with the boat. We feel really fortunate in having the chance to work with Dolphin Catamarans and the builder and the designer right from the start, and shape the boat we wanted, and going on their experience also, of course. But the boat's really been delivered for us. It's taken us places we never thought we'd go, and I think it's a really solid boat. Good passage maker, good performance cruiser, good liveaboard. So if you end up being the next owner, I think you'll enjoy the boat too, and we'll be there to support you in the early stages as you get going.